Hey everybody, Jay here, down by the river, as you can tell. And I know I said several weeks ago that I probably wouldn't be doing any more videos unless I really felt compelled to. And I've been driving around since early this morning, just trying to recreate something for myself and trying to clear my head of thoughts and feelings and the overwhelming sadness that I feel today, being what would have been our 38th wedding anniversary. And I was trying to recreate a day that Christine would have appreciated, which would have been very simple, which would have been going and getting a picnic lunch and going to find some place beautiful, hopefully with a little solitude, and enjoy that lunch, and then just getting lost on some back road somewhere. It's just talking, sharing, dreaming, and fantasizing, the whole gamut of talking and conversation, and just getting lost in that conversation. And I wasn't going to get online. I wasn't sure how contained I would be, and right now I seem to be okay, so I thought I'd drop on. And the recreation of the day has been, I guess, successful in the sense that I found beauty. I found I did find some picnic lunch. I did go get lost on a country road and over across the river, and found myself in some spots I didn't know existed. Found a town that was kind of cool. But all through this trip this morning, I was just really losing containment because of this fact. When you're a young married couple, you look forward to first things, the first time you experience something together. And it's different than the first time you experience something together when you're engaged. When you're married and you want to celebrate that first Christmas together, that first holiday together, that first birthday together, that as a married couple, and you look forward to all the first that you can think of, that you can dream of. And you should if you're a young married couple and or about to get married, you should look forward to all those first time things, those first time events. Now that Christine is gone, first things they're not that exciting anymore. So we already went through the first Christmas, first New Year's, a couple of first birthdays, our first meeting anniversary in February 16th, and now my first wedding anniversary without her. And these are not first that I'm looking forward to, and I know there's more coming. Christine's birthday, she would have been 58 on the 15th of June. And sorry, a big boat just went by and the waves are coming. Reminds me of the ocean, so that's good. So I thought, how best do I honor Christine on this day? And one of the things that we would do, as no matter how we celebrated the day, sometimes we were traveling, or we were doing some work or something on her house, or her former beach house, her parents' former beach house. But whenever we got the opportunity to celebrate our special day, we would love to tell each other how much we appreciated being married to one another, and how much the qualities of each other that made our marriage strong, and how we could make our marriage better. This was 37 years of conversation that we would, that was every year that we would kind of like rehash weak areas, strong areas. It was a lot of them were working holidays. Let's put it that way. Beautiful working holidays, but something that we looked forward to. And it wasn't the only time that we talked about our relationship, obviously, but the highlight of those conversations was just telling each other how much we loved each other, how much we respected each other, how much we desired each other, and how much we just enjoyed and delighted in each other, and how glad we were to be married to one another, because we really did enjoy being married to each other. And finding myself not being able to tell Christine that today in person has been rather difficult. So I hope you don't mind if I just tell you about her. For a while. Christine was a remarkable woman, and those who know her and loved her, I know that you would agree with me, but she was more remarkable than I think that you can even imagine. There was a quality about Christine that came back to me the past few days as I was anticipating this holiday. And it's probably not a quality that any of you would describe her with, but I would. And it was the word fierceness. She loved with a fierceness. She was fiercely loyal to me. She was fiercely loyal to our marriage. She was fiercely loyal to developing and maintaining and working on our marriage. There was a fierceness to it. There was a passion to it. She would go to bat for me. She would back me up. She would guard me. She would defend me. Anyone that would say something about her husband, there was a fierceness to this. There was a complexity of her love to me that was, I think, unparalleled of anything I've ever seen or experienced in life, next to the Lord Jesus Christ. So she was fierce in her love towards me. And I believe because she was really fierce in her love for God. I mean, her love for God, for Father God, was so immense, so crazy good, so unbelievably pure and majestic. And I say those words because those are words that described how much she loved God. And anyone that really knows her knows that she did. No, she was not perfect in that love for God. She was not perfect in that love for me or towards her children or towards friends. She was not perfect, but man, she was fierce. And it wasn't mean fierce. There was just this passion, this underlying passion that even though she might be tired, even though she might be weary, even though she might be discouraged, even though she might just feel sick physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, she would love you with a fierceness that just would not let go. Now, I mentioned this before, we had an early prophecy over our lives, and that we were both bulldogs. And once we got a hold of something, we would not let go. And that's the way she was. She was fierce in her love to me. And here's the thing, that you had to match that intensity with Christine. You had to. She invited you into this kind of fierceness, this kind of passion, this kind of dedication, this doggedness of being true to a relationship, of being hungry about that relationship, of being passionate about that relationship. She drew you into this. She invited you into this, and you had to match that fierceness. You had to match that passion because you wanted to. She made me want to match that passion that she had for our marriage. And it wasn't a competition, but we almost were just in this trying to outdo each other with our passion and our deep commitment to it, because we loved being married to each other and we loved each other. So there was this fierceness, there was this passion that you had to match. And so I want to use that kind of descriptor and to kind of really define why this hurts so much for me. Since I had to match that intensity, and I loved doing it, and loved matching her fierceness and her loyalty and her dedication and her commitment. And now that she's gone, I don't have any place to put that kind of love. My love towards my kids is different, and I love them also very passionately, and also very committed to them, and I do love them with a fierce love, but it's different. I have many great friends, and I love them dearly, and I would do anything for them, but it's different. Of course, I love the people in my church, and I want to serve them, and I want to dedicate my life to them as their pastor, as their friend, as their brother, but it's different. The fierceness and this complex love that we shared, that invited us into a deeper commitment level to each other, this covenant love that we shared, I don't have any place to go with that anymore. And this is why it hurts. This is why it hurts. Now, some people who I've tried to explain this to have said, well, then you have to give that to God, and yes and no, because my love for God is different. It's higher, it's purer. I hope it to be pure. It's more, it's a deeper kind of love, and since there's a bit of romance in the love that I shared with Christine, it's not the same. And I don't even think God expects me to love him that way. I don't think so. I love him in a much different way, in a much more soul level way. So I don't know if that explained it well, why this hurts so much to be without Christine, because I don't really have any place to put this kind of love, this kind of passion towards. And so it bumps up against Christine's memories. And well, those memories are good and those memories are great, and I love each and every one of them. It still doesn't go anywhere. It's because she's not here to reciprocate. There's no way for that interchange of deep, passionate, covenant love that we had. It's got no place to go. And so days like today, when I'm trying to lose myself in a back road somewhere and discover myself somewhere where I haven't been, and find a place to stop and pause and pray and cry and complain a little, all those kind of things, I am reminded that this great woman loved me with everything that she had while she was on this planet. That there was nothing left out of that love for me. Now, again, I don't want to romanticize our marriage to the point of where it seems like we're a holy couple. We weren't. We weren't perfect. There were seasons, there were days, there were times where we were both dry and didn't have the kind of love that we wanted for each other, because that's what happens in life sometimes. And sometimes life interrupts, and with kids and working and sometimes even ministry. I know, ministry interrupt marriages. Oh, goodness gracious. Don't get me going on that. Anyways, but even though those times and seasons were dry, there was still this underlying understanding that our emotions might not be there, our feelings might not be exactly connecting, but our covenant love never changed. And we were continuing the pursuit of each other as best we could in all seasons, the dry seasons, the loving seasons, the overwhelming seasons, every season, the hard seasons, whatever season it was covenant love that got us through those times, especially when our emotions weren't there. And, I was trying to do some history this past week, so I reread, oh my goodness, we have hundreds of cards and letters from over the years, and I reread most of them. It's a good thing I'm a speed reader. I was looking for a particular thing, a particular piece of correspondence, and I didn't find it, but I found something else from early on in our relationship when we met in 1980. And it was this card, and this card dropped me as soon as I saw it. It was kind of a gag card. I have it right here. I just kind of like to. It was early on in our relationship, and it said, on your 50th anniversary. And she said, I won't read. I'll just read the ending because of the personal nature of the rest. She crossed out the the wording for the 50th anniversary in there. She says, "I'll be there to celebrate with you those 50 fantastic years." It's a date. And sorry, that dropped me, because even before we were married, Christine understood that it was going to take a covenant understanding. It was going to take a covenant commitment to get the 50 years. If God would give us 50 years on this planet, it was going to take that kind of commitment, a commitment before we were even married, in order to get there. She understood, or had an understanding of what covenant relationship was all about. And she wanted to be there. She wanted to be there. And we did. We talked about this not long before, about our last anniversary. We talked about making it to 50 years and how close we were at 38 years. We thought, oh man, we're right there. We're almost there. And unfortunately, cancer took her. But that card dropped me, and in a lot of ways it dropped me emotionally, and because it was hard to read, and because she won't be there. But I sure appreciate this woman's commitment to me. That even before we were covenantally tied up with Jesus in marriage, we had an understanding, a growing understanding, that it was going to take that kind of commitment in order to get to 50 years. And that's what I loved about her. I loved that no matter what, she was committed to me. She might have been mad at me, and boy, at times she was. She might have been upset with me. She might have been discouraged by me. She might have even, wanted to kick me sometimes, and she would tell me that. And I don't blame her, because that was all me. But she never, ever, 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 ever gave up that fierceness, that fight for our marriage type of thing. And that might be one of the reasons why I'm compelled to come on today, to just maybe to mention to you, I know marriage sometimes gets hard. And I know sometimes it gets tough. And I know, life interrupts, and kids come, and bills come, and working comes, and viruses come, and all kinds of bad things come. You have to fight for each other. You do. You have to fight for each other. When the other person is weak, you got to fight harder for them. This covenant love is huge. It's a commitment that actually keeps on giving. It gives life when you invest in it, when you dive into it, when you accept the responsibility of it, and then you take up the fierceness of it all, and you love so passionately that it goes beyond feelings. Christine and I hardly fought in the 37 years of our marriage, and that's the truth, because I didn't like to fight, and I didn't like to argue. But we had some, and they were probably as loud as maybe some of yours are at times. Although we weren't very loud people, but I'm sure that my kids could probably tell you better stories about it. But I know that we didn't fight that much. And if she was here, she would tell you that we didn't either. But when we did get into disagreements, when we did get into times where we didn't understand each other, that we misunderstood each other a lot, and there was a lot of those times, just like everybody. Even though we had those times, we had this one thought, and this is one thought always pervaded at the end of that time, that season of being unhappy with each other. We realized that we were fighting for each other's heart and not to win an argument. And if we kept that focus in mind, of not trying to be right, but trying to win each other's heart, those seasons, those arguments, those moments actually became sacred moments, and covenant building moments. I love great times. I love all the wonderful, safe, beautiful, romantic times that I had with my bride. And they built covenant relationship as well. But I think what made our marriage endure was working through those difficult times, understanding that we should be fighting for each other and against the enemy of our souls. And so this is what my marriage meant to me. It still means it to me. It's just I don't have any place to go with this. I wish I was still in covenant marriage with my bride. I love being married. I'm not a very good single guy. But in thinking about her today and thinking about the beauty that she was, both physically beautiful, emotionally beautiful, spiritually beautiful, this wonderful, wise, discerning, intelligent, funny as all get out person that I got to be married to was a blessing to me for 37 years. Knowing her for 39 years, it was the best 39 years of my life. This wonderful woman gave me 7 awesome children who I love dearly. This person believed the best of me when nobody else would. This person thought I was the strongest man that she knew and would tell me that. She'd tell me that I was the kindest person that she knew. And for some strange reason, she thought I was the sexiest person that she knew, but because of her great, fierce love towards me. And I just wanted to drop on really quick just to say those things. I know I've been on for a while. I loved my wife. Christine was an awesome woman. She always went to the Father, and I told her this time and time again and again over in our marriage, that one of the most beautiful things that she did for me and continuously did for me, that she always pointed me to the Father. She always reminded me of his love. And you know, I go and teach all over the country about fatherhood, about, you know, God being Father, about sonship. And I want to tell you, the person who taught me most about that was Christine. I give her all the credit. Besides, you know, I give God all the glory, but I give Christine a lot of the credit for teaching me how to be a son, because she always pointed me to Abba. And even when she passed, that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to point me to God, to her dad, that she was going to go see. So that's it. I hope this maybe encourages you. Look, if you're about to get married, you're engaged, make your engagement the best engagement ever. Work on your engagement. Prepare for marriage. Make proclamations about how you want your marriage to be. Take all those proclamations to God and ask Him to refine them, to define them for you. And if you're a young married couple, again, do the same kind of things. Engage in your marriage. Engage in your relationship. First, engage in your relationship with Father God. Love Him with everything that you got, because that'll help you love your spouse the way that he or she needs to be loved. It's the thing that consistently worked in our marriage. That as our marriage grew, we understood that if our relationship with God wasn't first and foremost, that we could not love each other the way that each other needed to be loved. It's a truth that goes beyond understanding at times, that's what you must do. So I encourage you, if you've been married for a long time and everything maybe seems a little dry or cold, it's not too late to turn it around. It's not too late to love each other. It's not too late to pursue each other with a fierceness that reminds each other how valuable you are to each other. It's really not that hard work. It really isn't. I just encourage you with that, today. And as I close, thank you for listening. Whoever's been listening, I can't see the screen because the sun is in my eyes. But I love you all. God bless you. And we'll see you next time.